Hey, this is David Devine, and I'm coming up next on the Vinnie Langdon Show.
Are you ready for the show? Lights, camera, action! Let's go! Let's go! With your host named Vinny. Not here just to give you the skinny. Time to get the 411. Let's have some fun. Let's go! The Vinnie Langdon Show. Come on, let's go! Alright, the Vinnie Langdon Show. Let's go! It's the Vinnie Langdon Show. Let's go! The Vinnie Langdon Show. Alright, the Vinnie Langdon Show. Let's go! It's the Vinnie Langdon Show.
Well, hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Vinnie Langdon Show. It's me, Vinnie Langdon, and today I am talking with David Devine. If you don't know who he is, he's a musician from Ohio. He got to play with Marky Ramone a few years back. Well, okay, almost a decade or so ago, but we'll talk about him and his other projects here on the Vinnie Langdon Show, because if you've never seen the Vinnie Langdon Show, it's all about preserving rock and roll history and talking to these guests straight from the source, and that's what we're going to do today. So, David, it's great to have you finally on the show. I remember we had conversations about the Misfits and the Ramones and Kiss and Guns N' Roses, and then I was surprised to find out a little bit more about your background. And then I took a little hiatus from the show. And now that I'm back ready to rock and roll, I said, hey, let me see what David's doing these days. And let's bring him on the show to talk about your history. So glad to have you on the show. How are you?
Hey, thanks, Vinny. Glad to be here. Yeah, it's been a long time. I can't believe actually how long it's been since we did talk about doing this show. But like you said, you took a hiatus. But I'm glad to be here to talk. Yeah,
Y-
definitely. Thanks for having me. Thanks
Yeah.
for having me.
So just like a good book, we like to start at the very beginning here on the show and take us back. You grew up in Ohio, and when was the first time you were attracted to music?
Well, really young. I mean, my parents had a great eclectic record collection, as well as my grandma too. By the way, on 8 track, she had just about everything cool, like Bachman Turner and stuff like that. But Kiss was obviously for my age group. That was what really got me into wanting to play live and be just like Kiss. Kiss, and so that I went through the Kiss phase right up until I don't know till Poison and glam rock and stuff like that. But then yeah, oddly enough, in the back of a magazine, I saw an ad for a really cool cartoon for a Ramones album called Road to Ruin, their third album, and I thought, man, those guys look cool. So that's kind of about 13 when I really decided that that's what I wanted to do.
Was there one particular instrument that you gravitated towards while listening to your vinyl collection that just made you go, "Oh my gosh, I just got to go pick up an instrument"?
Yeah, first we went down to the Greg's music store and got an acoustic, and I just couldn't make sense of that. So quick, I tried making that sound like I wanted to, but again, I was into Kiss and bar chords and stuff like that, and acoustic just wasn't cutting it. So I think I did that for a few months, and then it was kind of a black Les Paul copy that we went and replaced that acoustic with, and that made more of an electric sound and something more that I was looking for. Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
Now it's funny you mentioned Kiss because, I remember being in high school and talking to my mom and saying, "Hey, mom, what kind of bands were you into?" And she was like, I used to ditch school to go see the Ramones at CBGB's and Kiss. And, I think a lot of the bands today are missing that element of like the image. They got the sound, they could do any genre they want, but to be able to dress up, I mean, a lot of the music that we've seen in the past few 3 or 4 decades has already been done and repeated. So when it comes to originality, it's, not really much out there left. So
Yeah, that's wild that she got to see the Ramones at CBGB's. I got to play there a couple times, and of course, it's been closed down now. But just that place was an experience, and I imagine if she saw the Ramones, that was probably the '70s, and you could see the Talking Heads and Blondie and so many others. The Dead Boys from here in Akron used to play there, and then it was just a whole culture. You're right, that culture element, and getting together all the different people, and all coming together for to listen to music. And also, at that time, a lot of times people argue who started punk, the Ramones or the Sex Pistols. But at that time, oddly enough, the godfather of punk that they called him was the writer William Burroughs, who wrote Naked Lunch. He was also a regular at CBGB, so you could find these really eclectic writers and actors and bands just doing their own thing. And I know when we played there, there were like 13 bands on the bill, and it really was just like the logo stands for country bluegrass and blues, or something like that. But really, yeah, you could hear all different types of music there all in the same night. And it was cool. Everybody came together, and it was just, the bathroom was trashed, and it was trashed, but it was a whole thing. It was just art. Yeah,
Yeah.
just art.
Yeah, it was part of the whole environment too, you know?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, definitely. Now, one of the big opportunities that you got to do in your career is that you got to play with Marky Ramone for quite a while. And tell us, how did that all start off for you? Like, did you meet him at a show, or did somebody, drop your name and said, hey, you should check out this guy, David, and listen to how he sounds? Or how did that all work for you?
Okay, now we're gonna go now to the pet cemetery. One, two, three, four.
Yeah, well, the Ramones got inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I think it was 2004. And then, of course, shortly after Joey passed away, and Dee Dee passed away, and Johnny was in California, and he was just retired. So they approached Mark about doing it. And oddly enough, someone that roadied for me when we played at CBGB's, he was roadieing. I think he roadied for Mark at one point or another, or whatever. Anyway, so because we were in Cleveland, I think that's how the opportunity rose. That they said, Mark needs a singer, and so he thought of me. And so, I was kind of floored and ecstatic about that opportunity. So we got together in a basement in Parma, Ohio, to run through the set list. I think we did about 25 songs that night. So that was the only bad thing. It was like, do you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, no, no doubt. But the hardest thing was, well, learn these 25 songs and we'll see it, in 2 days. Okay. So, but we showed up, and we showed up to do that one show because I was doing the rock and roll concert series. And it was wild. I don't know how many. I think Glenn Matlock had played there, and maybe a couple others, but it was a sold out show. Mark did they did an interview, and then we just played. So it was me, CJ, that roadied for him once in a while, playing guitar, and then Daniel Ray was playing bass. And Daniel Ray played on a lot of Ramones albums from the 80s on, and he wrote a lot, So I think he played record some recordings when Johnny didn't want to record the guitar. Danny would be in there, or he would sing backups and stuff too. So that was an honor too, to meet Danny Ray. I know that he co-wrote a lot of songs with Dee Dee,
Yeah.
and played on Joey's solo album too. So that
Yeah.
was really wild. So it was just a one-off show. We were going to do that, but it went really well. And so we started off doing tertiary markets in Pennsylvania and New York, down to Florida, and it just kept building momentum. And it just never stopped for, say, the next 10 years.
Yeah, that's awesome. And for
Yeah.
you, was there, I mean, obviously the Ramones have a big cult following. And, I couldn't imagine if someone said, hey, I want you to, sing with some of the members of the Ramones. I'm sure there was a lot of pressure, not just from the members in the band, but the fans as well, because they probably were like, hey, this guy don't even look like the original, and this guy don't even sound anything like him. And, did you ever feel the pressure and talk to the guys and say, look, I don't know if I can, live up to Joey's expectations, or did you put your own twist on things?
Yeah, I put my own twist on it, but yeah, there was some of that, especially at first. I mean, when they asked me, I had just cut my hair short, just didn't look the part at all. Really, that first Rock and Roll Hall of Fame show, uh, yeah, I had to start growing my hair back out really because I looked a little odd because there were critiques. Yeah, who's that? Like I forget, what some people were calling me or whatever. But yeah, I mean, there were those challenges, but the way I approached it was I didn't try. Well, number one, because I can't, but I never tried to sound like Joey. I know people do approach it that way where they just imitate Joey, and that's great, but I try to use my own voice with it. And I think people started to accept it the longer we did it. I think they appreciated it a little bit. I mean, it was kind of like a combination of Ramones super suckerish, the way we were doing it.
Yeah.
And so that's the approach I took. But yeah, of course, there's always going to be uh, people that whatever they need to challenge you. You're not doing it the right way. But more people accepted it than not.
Yeah.
Right. So
Right,
yeah.
right. Yeah, you must have been doing something right there. So, and also you were talking about, traveling the US and you did that for, about a decade with Marky, but you also got to have opportunities and we have some clips courtesy of your YouTube channel where, you got to go play over in Europe. And I bet for you, just being that young kid at heart from being from Ohio to be able to like have the opportunity to travel. Not many people even get to travel the country, let alone have these opportunities to play shows overseas and just see, how really big and meaningful the Ramones truly are internationally. And tell us about some of those experiences.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, we started off, like I said, we did those tertiaries, but then we started to go to Mexico, and that's where it really hit me that what the Ramones meant uh, to people, and now this whole new generation of kids, because it was just a mob scene. The first place we played in Mexico was Mexico City at the Hard Rock, and they were the dressing room was up over the stage, this long building, and they were up on the roof trying to get in. I mean, it was crazy. It was wild. And then of course South America, same thing. The Ramones were like the Beatles there, and so the kids still, the new generation of kids still responded that way. But yeah, all over Europe, Japan, all over the place. We got to do up. I got to go over and over around the world, and that's probably one of the things I'm most grateful for is all the learning that happened from seeing all those first and going back and just seeing people's excitement and the people I got to meet. But yeah, the Ramones the fans are diehards too, and it was great. And at that time, there was just like I said, this new generation of kids coming up that never got to see the Ramones, and so they were really, really over the top excited.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, you played in other bands before and even after that. And one of the projects you shared with me was Cheap Vinyl. Tell me about that.
Yeah, that's the band that I was doing right when I started playing with Mark, and that kind of uh, that eased me in to playing with Mark to feel comfortable because we were also doing pretty big shows too. We were playing with Cleveland Orchestra and the Cleveland Indian Stadium, and just bigger shows like that kind of prepared me to stand on those stages. Because if I hadn't had that, I think it would have taken me a while to shake off the nerves or whatever. But that really helped me be prepared to walk out there, like you said, face those challenges of are they going to accept me, and also holy crap, there's a lot of people here. So that Cheap Vinyl was kind of the band that helped ease me into that. And so that, yeah, sent you that one of those songs, Blame. And
Yeah,
um and there were others that it's actually still to this day, it was really good writing, in my opinion. Yeah.
right, right. What we'll do is we'll play a sample of one of the songs here for like the first minute, and then I'll comment on that as well.
Okay.
Mystery was riding on that uptown train. just another ordinary average day. Wondering if I'll ever rise, gone insane. And she knew it's probably always been this way. When the world changes and it all just seems so lame. Ooh, maybe I'll stay the same. If the world is different and it still just seems so lame.
You're on vocals, obviously, and tell us who else is in that band with you.
Yeah, so we got Shane Vane. He's in a band called Shane Vane and the Village Vandals now, and Corey Roddick is playing bass. He is also in Shane's band as well as other things. And then childhood friend of mine, Jason Martin's playing drums on that. He's in another band too now. I can't remember the name though.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
worries. But yeah, it seems like a fun collaborative band there, and you can actually hear it come through the music. So that's pretty awesome. You also have other recordings out there from cheap vinyl people can check out on iTunes and Spotify, Amazon, pretty much anywhere where you can stream music and listen and download and buy. So that is pretty cool. And I'm sure you're as a musician, lifetime musician, you're getting up there in age now and you kind of look back at your career and I'm sure you have those moments where you're going, okay, I've toured the world. I've played with one of my favorite bands, one of the members from my favorite bands. What's next for David?
I don't know. I just, I know, yeah, I feel like I'm just getting started. I mean, also, I'm working on some stop animation stuff. So I'm making my own puppets to do that. I love filming, um, talk radio. I don't know. I got to kind of narrow it down and stay focused. Photography, I mean, because I'm all over the place, but I just love art. So it's always going to be something with art. Also we're working on more music. Um, but the thing is now, right? Like you said with the question, the the urgency isn't there. I don't feel the need to get something out tomorrow. I have to get it out tomorrow, so it's kind of like I can work at my own pace. But yeah, it's always with art. I'm a lifer, you know. I'll always have to express myself some way, writing or whatever. But definitely, yeah. So from music to film, yeah, you name it, I still want to do it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And over on your YouTube channel, you're doing reviews of classic movies and,
Hmm.
B level movies too that a lot of people haven't heard of.
Yeah.
So feel free to plug, your YouTube channel for those
Yeah.
out there who want to follow you on that.
Yeah, my YouTube channel is David Divine Broadcasted, and yeah, I do a lot of movies, a lot of horror. I'm really into 80s horror that kind of includes comedy with it as well. Right now, I have a really big Full Moon Features addiction. So, and Charles Band, the owner of Full Moon, that makes all those great movies, Puppet Master, and on and on and on. He has a house here in Cleveland, so he films a lot of movies here, and then he bought a church that he uses as a set for a lot of his movies now too. So twice a year he does. It's called the Church of Chills, and you go there and he has celebrities and we watch movies and hang out and stuff. So yeah, so I do a lot of full moon reviews and talk about full moon features a lot because I'm really addicted to that right now and B movie horror, right?
Yeah,
But yeah, it's David Divine Broadcasted. Yep.
perfect. People
Mhm.
can check it out and that would be great. I think it's funny because I come from the filmmaking world. I don't really come from the music world. You come from the music, you're getting into the film, so it's pretty cool how our paths cross there. And
Yeah.
and there's so much good music that is specifically geared towards films where sometimes some of those songs aren't even released, these soundtracks and these songs for movies. And have you ever considered trying to hook up with a producer, a filmmaker, and create original songs for movies? Has that ever crossed your mind?
Yeah, it has, and it's something that I'm thinking and working on now. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah, because
Yeah.
original music's the key. A lot of these filmmakers, the problem is it's great. We have all these, unlimited songs and tracks from stock websites, but then eventually you go, oh, this music sounds the same. It's all repetitive. It's all loops. It's all the same. And, it's like, hey, a filmmaker might have an idea and say, I got a song idea, but I'm not a musician. I'm far from it. Well, contact a musician like David and, say, hey, I have an
Right.
idea for this. And, you got the music in the back of your pocket. You just pull it out and say, well, you want something like this or this. And hey, you never know what can happen. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I no, I'm definitely open to that and something that I'm definitely pursuing. Yeah. Because, yeah, right. Like you said, a lot of stock music. But if you find like indie band or stuff, I forget what the name of the band is, but they sang a song called "Broke the Furniture," and it was like in this really bizarre movie. But because of the way they incorporated that song and the scene and everything, it changed the way I look at the whole movie. Just that 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 track that they put in that movie just really was perfect.
right,
So yeah,
right.
I would love to do that.
Yeah, no, that is very cool. Yeah, and I know you're based in Ohio, but you're easily to find. You're willing to work with people all over the world. So you're definitely a guy who's definitely accessible. So
Right.
that's always good. So what would you say to someone out there that's looking at your career and they're saying, hey, I kind of want to follow in the footsteps. I'm just a local band right now starting out in my parents' basement, but I want to be able to have these travel opportunities. I want to see the world. I want to be on a stage like the Cleveland Indians baseball park and play for thousands of people. How do I do that? What would your advice be to someone that is out there?
Uh, ju- uh, oh, just uh, focus on what you want to do. People are going to, now they call it trolling. What are they, they're going to troll you. They're going to tell you how bad you suck. Or they're going to, you're going to face it all. But that's with anything, right? Any job or anything you do where you're putting yourself out there, you're going to face all these people, and it gets a lot easier once you take a couple lumps. But yeah, just focus on what you want to do, and if people shame you or make fun of you, I mean, that's especially the more you go, the more around the world you go, you realize that they just don't know what they don't know. They don't know what your desire, what you want. You got to work through that and just do what you want. 100%. You can't take time off if you want to get to those different levels. You have to keep working, work through the hard stuff. You're going to lose girlfriends or boyfriends, and people are going to be mad at you. But in the end, they'll come back and see you at the Rock Hall or wherever you end up.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. Well, David, this is a great conversation. I know we got more and more stories we could dive into, so maybe we'll have you on again in the future. And for those who want to find out more about yourself or they want to follow your YouTube channel, social media, cheap vinyl, where's the best source to go to for all that?
definitely. Yeah, definitely my YouTube channel, David Divine Broadcasted, and then on X too. I think it's David Divine B.
All
But
right.
number one place is the YouTube channel. Come on over, subscribe, and say hi.
Yeah, leave a comment, troll if you want
Yeah,
to.
yeah. Troll. Go ahead and troll if you want. I'm fine with it.
There you go. Well, David, great having you on the Vinnie Langdon Show today. Nice stories. I love seeing some of that old home movie footage of you up on stage playing with the Marky and the rest of the guys. And keep doing what you're doing, and can't wait to listen to some more music you put out there. So, thanks for being on the show, and everybody else, subscribe to the Vinnie Langdon Show. We got more episodes coming your way. And any last words, David?
Thanks. Just thanks for having me here, Vinny. It was great to talk to you again and catch up and do your show. And I'm glad you're back.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. We'll see you guys next time.